Hey, good morning, Facebook and Instagram. It's Jerry coming to you from the Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica on a beautiful day, and I mean a beautiful day. What is Rythmia Life Advancement Center? Well, it's a place that over 17,000 people have come to and have done a one-week program that consists of metaphysical teachings, 4 nights of ayahuasca, breathwork, meditation, yoga, farm-to-table organic food, the cleanse, all within this 1 week. People come from all over the world, and of that almost 18,000 people, 98.85 report, that's 988 out of 1,000, report that they had a life-changing miracle during their stay. The better part, at 6 months, 90.22% say that this was the week that changed their life. 6 months later, because of that, all people from all walks of life come here. Movie stars, entertainers, musicians, business people, and normal people just like you and me come here. Athletes, A-list athletes, come here to have this amazing experience. And it is amazing. Because of that, we put together an incredible board of directors. Now, each of these people that I'm going to tell you sits on our board. They sit on their board, on this board, for free because they had this experience and they wanted to take it to the world. Ron White, the comedian. Martin Luther King's son, Martin. Michael Bernard Beckwith, the founder of the Agape Spiritual Center. Kelly Slater, the world's greatest surfer. Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer. Jack Canfield, the author of Chicken Soup of the Soul, and many more sit on that board. They've all been here. They've all had this experience, and they all decided to help us by expanding the reach of this to people that might not have heard it. Now, typically, when this occurs, people decide that they want to change the rest of their life. So of this 98.85%, when they check out, I'm going to say we don't have statistical data on it, but in the high 90s of percents of those 98%, they decide they want to become a beneficial presence on the planet. What does that mean? That means when you see God and God speaks to you, which happens during this week, that you decide that being alive is the gift unto itself. Just being born, being here in this garden of a planet is the gift. It's the gift of the gift. And once you really get that, you want to take the rest of your life to become a beneficial presence. And that basically means that if you touch 10,000 people, that the overwhelming vast majority of them have a better experience of life because of you than they did without you. How can you do that? Well, you can do that by being an excellent mother or father, an excellent sister or brother. You can do it by becoming a musician and spreading your music forever. You can do it by becoming a cook or a chef and starting restaurants that serve food that elevates people. You can do it by becoming the best investment banker, the loving investment banker. You can do it by starting a bank. You can do it. There's just an endless myriad of ways to become a beneficial presence on the planet. You can do what Michael Beckwith did and start a spiritual center. But there are numbers of ways. The things I can tell you is when you're done your week, you're going to have one come through where you're going to become a beneficial presence on the planet. And this is how you're going to spend the rest of your life. Now, here are the earmarks of becoming a beneficial presence. It's going to be harder than you ever thought. It's going to take longer than you can imagine. It's going to be an experience that tests you in your humanness, but also your spirit. It will be a the greatest test to your spirit, like a endurance test or an intensity test or both. It's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. And it's going to pay dividends beyond your wildest imagination. It's going to give you more than you could ever imagine in all ways. It's going to give you more, but it's going to be hard. How long does it take? Usually takes about 10 years once you decide to do it. How many times are you going to think about quitting? All of those years you're going to think about quitting. Because it is an endurance test. It's an endurance test. But it's the greatest, most fulfilling thing you could ever do in your life. And by the way, we're in 2025. 2035 is coming. It is. You get to choose where you want to be in 2035 today. It's coming anyway. Do you want to be where you've been at for the last 10 years, the last 15 years, the last 5 years? Or do you want to be in a different place? I want to be in a different place. I want to build the largest spiritual center in the world that affects the most amount of people. That's what I want to do by 2035. Now, once you decide you want to do that, there are certain agreements that you have to make. I go over them every week, and they are an agreement to not quit, and it's a written agreement. You agree, make a deal with your soul to not quit. You can change course, you can alter, you can adjust, but you can't quit. To do every day, to have a spiritual practice, whether it's 5 minutes of 99 breaths, or it's a 5-minute meditation, or a 30-minute meditation, or 15 minutes of prayer, or whatever. You have to have a daily practice, yoga, whatever it is. And you agree to this. And then you have to agree to tithe. Tithe out of the excess. So if you're in a job making $200,000 a year and you see this opportunity and the opportunity to become a beneficial presence that someday is going to pay $1 million a year, then you tithe out of the $800,000 that you didn't receive yet. You tithe out of the delta. You tithe out of the excess. And by tithe, I don't mean you give it to the Catholic Church. You may want to, but what you do is you give it to something that's near and dear to your heart, whether that's UNICEF or your local mission or a place that takes care of dogs or cats or whatever your thing is, that you agree to tithe that money every year. And you do that by agreement. And then you have to agree on what you're going to feed yourself and what you're going to drink. And that's by agreement. And then you have to agree that you're going to get some type of movement every day, whether it's walking or something for your temple. That's just part of this deal that gets you, and you sign off on it, and then you start your process. Now, this is the thing. What happens during that time, the setbacks are going to be horrendous. This activity of leveling up your life and the lives of others is a hard thing it's not the easy thing, it's the hard thing. And because of that, there's going to be great obstacles and great challenges. And you have to surrender and sit with your failures in that regard. This whole process is one of allowing, surrendering, and not deflecting and not bypassing. It's sitting there and saying, this is horrible. Look what happened to me. Cry, sit with it. And sit with it, sitting with it is your superpower. I want you to hear that. Sitting with it and accepting the failure, accepting your shortcomings, and not lashing out at others during this time to maintain peace and calmness in your heart while you're surrendered is your superpower, and it unlocks all of the codes to give you this energy and strength that you never knew you had. That's one of the keys, right? Feel the pain of the process. and move forward with. So it's yes, I screwed up. Yes, I fell short. Yes, I did, but I'm still moving forward in pain. And in this pain, I'm not going to hurt other people. I'm just going to let it go through me. And now all of a sudden you transcended that pain and you move forward with calm and quiet confidence. Boom. Now we're hitting your superpower is sitting in this process. Your superpower, it's not, there are a million ways to go about not feeling things. Alcohol, orgasm, porn, talking about others, surfing the internet. There's a million things to deflect, but there's one thing, to sit with it and move forward. That is your superpower. There's a falsity that I want you to know is baloney. And that is that there's some way that makes this process of getting through life easy, and you can get through easy and unscathed. And that would be great, except your soul is calling for you to evolve. And evolution has this counterpart that is stress, conflict, pain. That forces evolution. Very few of us, very, very, very few of us are a Jesus or a Buddha or some of the saints that could watch others and learn from that and evolve. Most of us are forged by fire. We are forged by steam. We are forged by brute wrangling. That is how most of us evolve. And when I say most of us, 99.99% of us. Now, when you accept that that is going to be this process and you find peace, you will find a peace unlike any peace you've ever had in trying to avoid that pain. By accepting that this is the process, accepting that this is the nature of life, and accepting that this is the nature of evolution, you get to participate in a satisfaction that is not normally experienced in dodging this. The acceptance of it so much surpasses the feeling tone of accepting it. Far and away surpasses the feeling tone of trying not to make that a reality. So Van Halen had a great line, working so hard to make it easy. Turn this thing around right now. So most of us are constantly in the process of avoiding pain, avoiding any uncomfortableness, avoiding work, avoiding real hard work. And yet the key to the city is there. The key to the city is there, and accepting it and falling in love in a romantic way with that process. And I want to tell you, it's a game changer. Once you do that, once you sit with yourself and you fall in love with that process, it's a game changer. It all starts with the clearing of your soul called a soul merger. And that's what we do here at Rythmia. So on behalf of all of our board members, I invite you to come here and experience this process yourself. It is truly a game changer. Come to Costa Rica. We are the only medically licensed ayahuasca center in the world. We're the only one in the world. So please come here. Please experience this, and it will absolutely change your life.